Look, if you'd like to have greater insights on our ever changing world so that you can better plan and make decisions for your business, you are in the right place. Today's topic happens to be global transformations, and you're about to hear from Mama Callie Sichen, and she's going to be speaking about a prophetic message that she was able to decipher with her husband. Check this out. You're going to love this program. See ya. Welcome to another edition of Business in Motion, a program that focuses on business and entrepreneurship from an Afro-centered perspective, right here on WMEG Radio, Baltimore, Maryland, the number one station in the nation, with the dissemination of valuable information with no hesitation or reservation, but a dedication and obligation to the elevation of your present situation. I'm your host, RGL Biz Coach, and today you're in for a treat. We are going to be bringing on Mama Callie Sichen, and she is going to be discussing a prophecy, a prophetic message that was on a seawall in San Francisco that she and her husband happened to discover while doing an early morning walk, getting their exercise on. You got to stick around for this one. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel. Also, call up your friends, your family, your foes, and let them know it is on today. Check this out.
So that it just opened the floodgate of so much information. And I think I must have read maybe 4 or 5 of his books. They call them the Earth Chronicles. Mm-hmm. But it involves extraterrestrial, and I know a lot of our people, especially those who think in terms of the stock market and, business-minded people. Mm-hmm. They don't want to consider that part, of our reality, but sometimes I think it's more real than the reality that we awaken to every day. Have you been in a dream where you just knew you were there?
Yes, I have. And, absolutely. I mean, like more than once, like many times, it was like, I'm here. This is it. I had some dreams, some things I don't even want to talk about here on the air, but it was like totally for real. But I have a question. I got a question. Since you were speaking about the genealogy and everything, and speaking about Ptah and Enki, now on that wall, it also mentions. I heard this. I heard your husband saying this, that the message was revealed as to where we melanated people originated and came from. Could you enlighten the audience on that?
Yes, our people actually, according to, the ancient texts.
Yes.
And this is in many cultures. Ancient Chaldeans, the ancient Sumerians, the Egyptians, and also the Popol Vuh, which of course is the book of what they call the Mayans, but really it's the Olmecs, because the Olmecs are the oldest culture here in North America.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
The story is that we came from the star Sirius.
That's right.
Sirius, the North Star. Now, I don't know, were you born in the South?
I was born
or raised in the South?
I was born probably 45 miles from where you told me you were raised.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're both from that southeast North Carolina.
Exactly. You got the research triangle.
That's where my people are from. My dad moved to Durham. He was a newspaper publisher.
Oh,
but,
okay. Wow.
they say that we come from Sirius. And the reason why I asked you if you know the star Sirius is because every summer when it got so hot, the old folks used to say, oh, yeah, these are dog days. These are dog days. And I never really knew what the dog days were until I became an astrologer and astronomer.
Okay.
Because see, when our sun is rising with the star Sirius,
Mm-hmm.
then it's so very hot because we have the heat of the star Sirius and our own sun.
Right.
And they're rising together in the morning. And of course, the star Sirius is the star for the United States. Naturally, they chose July 4th because it's the rising of the star Sirius, and that's the brightest and the most prominent star in our sky. Mm-hmm. And of course, the dog being, like a leader. Actually, every pyramid on the planet is, focused on the star Sirius.
Right. It's alignment. That's right.
And that's because of the importance of our actually descending from that group of stars. Is not just one star. It's a group of stars. And, our ancestors actually held that in such high esteem, and that a tribe in West Africa called the Dogon tribe.
Very familiar.
They have the real cosmology of Sirius and Sirius's companion stars.
Yes.
And everybody in the world knows it, but they still say that, those lies about who we are,
Right.
But nevertheless, the fact remains that the story of the world was written on that and the changes. Now, here's another one that I want to tell you about because this is in the news right now.
Okay.
You've heard about the comet, the green comet that
yes, I have.
Was just coming through?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You know that on the wall, there were two numbers that were repeated all over that 2-mile stretch of the wall, 104 and 189.
Okay.
And for the life of me, I could not figure out what was happening. And then before leaving the beach one day, I leaned all the way back, doing my yoga moves, and looked at the sky, and I said, oh, let me go and check my star map. Because, I always had a star map. And lo and behold, that 104 pointed directly to Sirius, and 189 planted directly to the constellation of Virgo.
Wow, that's
now,
amazing.
Now, this comet that is in the news now has just moved through the constellation of Leo and entered into the head of the constellation of Virgo, and it is now, as we speak, emerging from her birth canal. Virgo is the Virgin, okay. And is associated with the Mother of Christ, okay?
Okay.
And so Virgo, so this green comet was on the wall, and they called it Comet 1.
Comet 1.
And why did I know that it was associated with the constellation of Virgo? Because it was the number 189 was on it. 189, which was the constellation of Virgo, or the location of the constellation of Virgo in the sky.
Yes.
And so this is happening as we speak. You can turn on the news today and they'll be talking about it. So this green comet, which I call Comet 1 because that's what it was called on the wall back in 1995. Okay, so, so it's emerging through the birth canal, okay?
Yes.
And it is birthing a new era.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
It is birthing a new consciousness.
Yes.
What we call the Christ consciousness. The high elevation of the mind and the spirit and the body. And the Aquarian age.
Yes.
It is birthing. That is the indication of the birth of the Aquarian age. But if you look in the Bible, it also talks about this same thing. In Revelation 12, 2, chapter 12, verses 1 through 2, they speak about the virgin who is in the process of birthing the new man child. Of course, it's going to say that.
Right.
And as the new man child is being birthed, there is a dragon sitting there waiting for that new Christ child or Christ consciousness to be birthed so that that dragon can devour it. Now, this is in chapter 12, Revelations, okay?
Right.
And so if we look at the reset now, there is a battle going on between the dragon or the demons and the people who are trying to bring us into that new consciousness.
Okay.
And they're called the White Hats.
The White X?
White Hat.
Oh, white hat.
Hat like for your head.
Okay, right. White hat. Gotcha.
Now, most people are not even aware, that there is this battle, but it is a galactic battle that's going on. And so I never really watched those star movies, what do they call them?
Star Wars and all of that?
And Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are people who know every word in those Star Wars things. But, that, you can see how they took on events that would be happening on Earth. And Star Wars, there have been wars in the heavens. Of course, the Bible speaks of that too.
Yes.
The wars in heaven, they're real.
Yes.
And we've got a real big one going on now. Because there is those people who have been in power for the last 2,000 years during the Piscean Age, they want to keep their power, but their time is up.
Before you came on, I was talking, I ran an excerpt from a video that I saw. And I mean, I know you're aware of the changes, the transformations being carried out in West Africa. The French being kicked out of all these countries, and now
absolutely.
the British being exposed, all these, and I won't mention, but still, the U.S. is the West. I mean, come on, it's the same people and everything. But it is changing, and it is changing quickly. And it's blowing people's minds.
You can't hardly keep up with it.
You can't keep up. And like I'm saying, but if you have this understanding of what you're speaking of and the things that I've been espousing on this program for a long time, at least you have foundation of what's going on, and you can sit back and watch without being so surprised. But I just wanted to say that. And I got one other question. I got a question.
And it's very important that we do not get shocked, because
that's right.
I do know that the dragon is not going to devour this new age.
Right.
But we have to be aware that there is this war in heaven going on, so that we will not be fooled by the dragon. The dragon is Satan.
Right.
And it's from the constellation of Draco. Now, we've heard of, maybe you have, it depends on what circles you run in, but draconians.
Yes, the Draconians. Yeah.
You know what they call reptilians?
The reptilian race.
Yeah, those they're from the constellation of Draco.
Mm-hmm.
And Draco is right there waiting for that new birth, that new child, that the comet is actually, telling us about is the new birth of the new age, the cosmic consciousness. It's coming on board now. Peace, justice, prosperity, all of those things are here waiting for us, but the devouring dragon is sitting there trying to keep it from happening. And this is real.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I could start naming some dragons right now, but I don't want to do that.
Okay, you don't have to name the dragon, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Quite not related to that, just related to this, the draconians and all. And you mentioned about melanated people being the first here on this planet, and our genesis is serious. And I know, in traversing the stars, coming here, they were a layover, I guess, on Mars for a long period of time. Right.
That's why you see that civilization on Mars, and that's where the fallen angels stayed.
Oh, so the fallen angels remain on Mars.
Right. Who came to Earth, if you remember in the Bible, it talks about that they liked those Lulus that were created down here.
Yes.
And they came down and started mating with them.
Yes.
And the result was giants.
Yeah. The mighty giants. Yes.
All this stuff is biblical. I tell people that, really the Bible, if you look at it from a certain point, it's an astrology book.
Yeah.
Because, it just tells you about all the things that are happening in the sky.
And and
really that's the only clock we have is the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Every other clock is man-made. And calendars, those are made by men, and they mess them up. I'm understanding now that when the good guys take over, and they will, it doesn't look like it now, and if you're not careful, you'll be captivated by the draconians, and fooled by Satan, and follow him and his minions. But, don't do that. Don't do that. There is a new and beautiful world coming. And remember, the fifth dimension said, where is Let the Sun Shine In?
Yep.
Back in the day, that movie, not the movie, the song.
Yeah, the song.
Let the sun shine.
Right.
It's the dawning of the Aquarian age.
Yep.
Right. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So this is the new age that the comet is birthing. Okay?
Yes.
And it's peace, prosperity, high science, high technology, freedom, justice, bountiful living, just a beautiful paradise to live in. What I'm trying to think what was that now? The New Jerusalem descending on earth.
Yeah, the New Jerusalem.
Remember?
The boat of the
New
boat of peace
Jerusalem.
ascending onto earth. Yeah.
So So, like, this is what I'm saying, we cannot be fooled. And the draconians, the snakes, the dragons are sitting there trying to mislead us and keep us in bondage. You know what they call J-O-B?
Just over broke.
Just over broke.
That's right.
and see, we're going to see. There's so much gold. Look, in fact, they say that Zimbabwe actually has the Anunnaki gold.
Wow.
And I know that Zimbabwe got so much gold, but then so do all of the African countries.
That's
and
right.
Believe it or not, we got gold right here. But they ain't going to tell you about it.
You had the California Gold Rush. That's what the 49ers, that's what it's all about.
And there was the Georgia Gold Rush, too.
Yeah.
Right here in Georgia.
You're right. Absolutely.
This country is rich beyond imagination.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep their stuff and go and steal from everybody else. Take from everybody else. And keep theirs. But all of that's going to change because there's enough of everything on earth for everybody. And this is what is being birthed now, this new age.
Mm-hmm. And when
this is the time that is happening. And, we have a new chief of staff who's coming in on October 1st.
Okay.
His name is, I think it's Charles Q. Brown.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that.
And he's the brother.
Okay. All right.
And everybody says he's going to clean this mess up as far as the military and all of that. That's what they're saying. He's a tough brother. I certainly hope it's true because Colin Powell wouldn't worth 2 cents. I mean, he lied and got us into another war.
Yeah, into that thing with Iraq. Mama Cal, I got a question, another one. I want to go back, okay, kind of, not so much with the wall, but, okay, you were speaking about, the dawning of the new age and everything. Now, the Temple of Dendera over in Kemet in Egypt, the first zodiac is like actually on the top, and, it speaks about the Cephas rising. Could you share some information on that?
Oh, yes. Well, you hear about the pole shift. This
Yes.
is a whole other thing that they're talking about in the news, is the pole shift, what's happening now. And see, the North Pole we used to think was right there at the very top of, the globe, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's not anymore. You see, the North Pole is now situated over Russia. And that's because the Earth is about to do a flip.
Okay.
Now, we have no idea when that's going to happen.
Right.
But when it happens, then the constellation of Cephas will rise, and it will be the new North Star.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
And so, and this is also, with the point 104, which is Sirius, point 189, which was the Virgin. Now, my mind, I'm going to look for the third point because in the mathematics, there would be a third point.
Okay.
So I looked for the third point, and it pointed directly to Cephas, the new North Star. Now, we have a brother who has talked about this for years. Dr. Finch.
Dr. Finch.
Charles Finch.
Who studied with the Dogons.
In fact, he talked about it in that book. What's the name of that book? I got it right by my bed. There's certain books that I've stacked by my bed. Now they've gotten taller than my bed. Let's see. What it's called? the star of new beginnings. And I mean, it's really technical because he's technical.
Right.
You know, he does talk about, Cephas.
Yes.
And I remember one time I was in one of his lectures here in Atlanta, and because he lives here in Atlanta too.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking about Cephas, and he asked, "Well, does anyone in here know anything about Cephas?" And I raised my hand, and he said, "Oh, well, because he didn't know me, and so how was I supposed to know about Cephas?" But see, he didn't know me. But at any rate, you know, he has talked about Cephas. And so Cephas will be the new North Star. Now, that's the Ethiopian king.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a megalith in what is it called? Abinshire.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of the name. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
It's called Abinshire. It's not called well, anyway, it's a megalith over 30,000 years old. Laid out just like the constellation of Cephas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then this whole thing with Cephas.
They have said that megalith is more than 30,000 years old.
More than 30,000 years. Now, isn't there some prophetic message with the fact that Cephas is rising, and then when Cephas becomes that North Star, what happens? What impact does it have here on Earth? I think there's a group of people.
We see it happen. You just mentioned that the rise of Africa.
Yes, there you go.
The rise of the indigenous people of the earth. That's why these dragons got to go.
Yes.
You know, their time, they had their time.
Yes.
They made life miserable for us for 2,000 years.
For 2,000 years.
And their time is up. Remember that Constantine brought that religion in 325 AD.
That's right.
You know, Emperor Constantine of Rome, well, he was in Constantinople, which was Turkey. Is that Turkey?
That's Turkey.
Okay. And they took down the original Christianity, which was the Ethiopian Coptic Church. Mm-hmm. And they took that religion and created this new religion that they call Christianity, which it had all the wrappings of the original Christianity, but they turned it into something else.
Yeah, okay? I know. They feel like with
and the Constantine. I mean, this is all facts. You can find this stuff.
Absolutely, no, it's all fact. You know, and theirs was about global expansion and you know, again, control over the earth with the utilization of a book and a symbol. The symbol being the cross, and so you know. Right. Yeah.
And they have dominated the earth and the people and stole all their stuff from them. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
But with Cephas, the Ethiopian king, rising, you know, this will bring in a new era, you know, where the indigenous people will find their place again.
That's right.
Now, you did mention the Mandela from Dendera.
Dendera,
right?
Temple of Dendera.
Mandala of Dendera. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You know, I have all this stuff on my walls everywhere, honey.
All right.
You walk through,
all good.
Wherever you go, honey, you're going to get a education. I got to find some more places because I have a bunch of old flyers, you know, and they look very, very old. Well, they're not that old, a couple 100 years. Talking about the days of the removal of the indigenous people from these lands. You know, they called it the Trail of Tears.
Yep.
From
Florida
yeah, I
to
have some of the old
Oklahoma.
flyers where the land that was supposedly given to the so-called Indians, they were advertising it for the recent immigrants and covered rabbits. Did you know that?
Yes, I do.
I
Yes.
got some. I have some flyers with that, and a whole lot of other information about that time back in the what was that? The early 1800s.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The Indian Removal Act, Thomas Jefferson, with his little indigenous children.
Right.
You know.
Right.